Your bank account reflects your frequency, not your effort. What if Conroe's wealthiest aren't working harder, just vibrating differently? One woman shifted her energy at sunrise. $47,000 appeared within 9 days. Why do some locals attract money effortlessly while you strain? The frequency gap between you and wealth is zero point 0.3 seconds of mental rewiring. Conroe's prosperity secret isn't hustle, it's harmonic alignment. Today you'll tune the exact signal millionaires broadcast unconsciously. Miss this calibration? Keep broadcasting lack on repeat. Let me tell you about Sarah. She lived in Conroe for 8 years, same neighborhood as people driving Range Rovers and building pool houses. She worked 60-hour weeks at her accounting firm downtown. Her neighbors worked less, earned more. The difference wasn't education or connections. It was something she couldn't see but could absolutely feel. Every morning she'd watch Tom from 3 doors down leave his house at 9:30, return by 3, then head to his boat at the lake. His energy was different, light, expansive. Hers felt heavy, contracted, desperate. One Tuesday morning, everything changed. Sarah woke at 5:30 instead of her usual 7. She didn't plan it. Her eyes just opened. The air felt different. Conroe was still sleeping, but there was this hum, this frequency in the pre-dawn silence. She walked to her window and looked out at Lake Conroe in the distance, barely visible in the dim light. Something inside her shifted. Not a thought, a knowing. She was tuned to the wrong station. That morning, she started matching what she felt coming from Tom's house, from the mansions along the lake, from the people who seemed to have money. Find them instead of chasing it. Within 9 days, a client she'd forgotten about called with a contract worth $47,000. She hadn't changed her skills. She'd changed her signal. This is about that signal, the one broadcasting from you right now, this very moment. It's either calling wealth toward you or pushing it away. There's no neutral. You're always transmitting. The question is, what frequency are you transmitting on? Conroe has a specific energetic signature when it comes to wealth. It's not like Houston's aggressive hustle frequency or Austin's creative bohemian vibe around money. Conroe vibrates at what I call relaxed inevitability. The wealthy people here expect abundance the way they expect sunrise. It's not a hope. It's not a goal. It's atmospheric. They breathe it in without noticing. You can tune into this same frequency starting today. Not next week when you're more ready. Not after you read 5 more books or take another course. Today. Right now. Because the frequency that matches wealth in Conroe is available to anyone willing to adjust their internal dial. Your location is already an advantage. You're surrounded by the prosperity field. You just need to become resonant with it. Think about a radio. Your favorite station is always broadcasting, but if you're tuned to 99.5 and the station is at 101.3, you hear static. The signal exists. You're just not calibrated to receive it. Wealth in Conroe works exactly the same way. Money is moving through this town constantly. Opportunities are floating past you every single day. But if your frequency doesn't match, they pass right through you like you're invisible. Here's what most people get wrong. They think wealth is about action. Do more, work harder, network better, learn faster. But Tom from Sarah's Street? He wasn't doing more. He was being different. His internal state was calibrated to a frequency where money felt natural, expected, inevitable. So, opportunities that would never appear to someone vibrating at struggle and effort just showed up in his life like mail delivery. The Conroe frequency map isn't mystical nonsense. It's observable, measurable, reproducible. Go to any affluent area in this town at 5:30 in the morning. Crichton Ridge, April Sound, Del Lago. There's a feeling in the air. It's calm, but alive. Expectant, but not desperate. Abundant, but not showy. That's the signature. That's what you're tuning into. When you wake tomorrow at 5:30, before your mind loads all its usual programming about bills and problems, and not enough, there's a window, a gap. In that gap, Conroe's prosperity frequency is clearest. The noise of the day hasn't started yet. Your resistance isn't fully online. For about 90 seconds, you have pure access to recalibration. Here's what you do in those 90 seconds. Don't reach for your phone. Don't start planning your day. Don't let your mind run its usual program. Instead, feel for Conroe's wealthy energy. It's not far away. It's in the stillness before dawn, in the quality of air coming through your window, in the knowing that somewhere right now in this town, someone is sleeping peacefully, with more money than they need, and zero anxiety about it. Feel for that frequency. Let your body remember what relaxed abundance feels like. Your body knows. It's been around wealthy energy, even if you haven't acknowledged it. Every time you've been near someone with real money who wasn't stressed about it, your nervous system recorded that frequency. You just never consciously tuned into it. That early morning window is when you tune in deliberately. You're not pretending. You're not faking. You're finding the signal that already exists and adjusting your internal receiver to match it. Sarah described it like this. Imagine you've been listening to a song through a wall, muffled and unclear. Then someone opens the door and suddenly the music is crystal clear, full, rich. The song didn't change. Your access changed. That's what happens when you tune to Conroe's wealth frequency. The abundance was always there. You just get clear access. Now let's talk about breakfast. This isn't about what you eat. It's about how you eat and what frequency you're holding while you eat. The wealthiest people in Conroe don't inhale breakfast while scrolling bad news and feeling behind before the day starts. They eat like they have time, like the day is already won, like abundance is baked into the next 12 hours, and they're just enjoying the preview. You can eat the same eggs and toast as always, but if you eat them while vibrating at "I don't have enough" and "I'm running behind and this will never work," you're encoding lack into your cells. Food becomes fuel for struggle. But if you eat those same eggs while holding the frequency of inevitability, of relaxed knowing that money is coming, of calm certainty that Conroe's prosperity includes you, then breakfast becomes a wealth ritual. Try this tomorrow morning. Before you take the first bite, pause. Look at your food. Feel gratitude not just for the food, but for the abundance that's already in motion toward you. Imagine today's breakfast is funded by money that's already decided to find you. It just hasn't arrived yet. Eat like a wealthy person who knows more is always coming. Chew slowly. Taste fully. Let your body receive nourishment from a place of overflow, not scarcity. There's a woman named Patricia who owns 3 properties in Conroe. She told me her wealth breakthrough started with coffee. Just coffee. She used to drink it fast, standing up, worried about being late. One morning she decided to sit, to hold the warm cup, to smell it before drinking, to treat that coffee like it cost $100 and deserved her full attention. Something shifted. It sounds small, but small shifts in frequency create massive shifts in magnetic pull. Within 2 months, she had her first rental property under contract. The coffee didn't cause the deal. The frequency shift she initiated with the coffee made her resonant with the deal. Every single thing you do today is either tuning you toward wealth or away from it. The drive to work, the way you walk through a parking lot, how you speak to the cashier at the gas station, these aren't neutral moments. They're frequency moments. You're either broadcasting, "I have plenty," or "I don't have enough" with every micro-action. Let's talk about your commute. Whether you're driving along Lake Conroe or cutting through downtown toward I-45, that drive is prime rewiring time. Most people use it to vibrate at stress. Traffic equals frustration. Red lights equal delay. Other drivers equal obstacles. By the time they arrive at work, they've spent 30 minutes broadcasting resistance. Then they wonder why their day feels hard and money feels far away. Flip the script. Your commute is a moving meditation on wealth. Every mile is a chance to align with Conroe's prosperity field. When you're driving past the lake, don't just see water. See abundance. See flow. See the metaphor right in front of you. Wealth moves like water, constantly circulating, always available, touching everything. Let that image settle into your nervous system. If you hit traffic, practice abundance in stillness. Wealthy people don't panic when things slow down. They trust the flow. They know the pause is part of the pattern. So instead of clenching your jaw and gripping the wheel, soften. Breathe. Remind yourself that even in this stopped traffic, you're surrounded by Conroe's wealth frequency. The delay doesn't change the signal. You're still tuned in. Here's a game that completely shifted my commute frequency. Every expensive car I saw became a mirror, not a source of envy or comparison, but a reflection of available energy. When a Tesla passed me, I didn't think they have what I want. I thought that frequency is available to me too. When I saw a Porsche at a red light, I didn't feel lack. I felt validation that wealth is moving through Conroe right now, right here, in my immediate field. I'm in the proximity of prosperity. I can match this. By the time you pull into your workplace parking lot, you should feel like you've been swimming in abundance for 30 minutes. Your cells should be saturated with the knowing that wealth is normal, present, accessible. When you step out of your car, you're not arriving depleted. You're arriving already vibrating at the frequency of someone who attracts money easily. Now, your workspace. This is where most people completely abandon their frequency work. They walk into an environment designed for productivity, not prosperity. Fluorescent lights, gray walls, stress in the air. Everyone around them is vibrating at effort and strain, so they match it. They sink to the lowest frequency in the room and wonder why they feel exhausted by noon. You cannot afford to match the ambient frequency if it's broadcasting lack. You have to become a tuning fork for wealth right there in your cubicle or office or desk. This doesn't mean ignoring your work. It means doing your work from a completely different energetic foundation. Instead of "I have to do this or else," you operate from "I'm creating value and wealth follows." The actions might look identical. The frequency is opposite. Start by claiming your space energetically. Before you open your computer or check your first email, take 60 seconds to set the field. Close your eyes if you can, or just soften your gaze. Imagine a sphere of golden light around your workspace. Inside this sphere, the frequency is prosperity, ease, creative flow, and magnetic attraction. Outside the sphere, people can vibrate however they want. But in your sphere, you're tuned to wealth. You maintain this field all day. Every time you notice yourself sinking to stress or lack, you reset to your sphere. Marcus worked in a call center in Conroe. Stressful job, low pay, high pressure. Everyone around him complained constantly. He decided to run an experiment. For 1 week, he would hold wealth frequency no matter what happened. Angry customers, system crashes, whatever. He would stay tuned to prosperity and see what shifted. Day 3, he got an unexpected call from a recruiter about a position he'd applied to 6 months earlier and forgotten about. By day 7, he had an offer for $18,000 more a year. Same skills, same experience, different frequency. The shift wasn't in his circumstances, it was in his broadcast signal. When he stopped matching the collective frequency of struggle and started holding his own prosperity channel, opportunities that couldn't find him before suddenly had a clear signal to lock onto. He became visible to wealth because he was vibrating at wealth. Let me ask you something. How often do you actually feel wealthy during your workday? Not think about wanting wealth or working toward wealth, but actually feel the frequency of abundance in your body while you're working. For most people, the answer is never. They're in constant future projection. When I get the promotion, when I finish this project, when I make more money, then I'll feel abundant. But frequency doesn't work on delay. You can't broadcast lack now and receive abundance later. The signal you're sending now is creating what arrives next. So here's the practice. At least 5 times during your workday, pause and generate the feeling of wealth, not the thought. The feeling. What does it feel like in your body when money comes easily? When you have more than enough? When opportunities seek you out? Find that feeling and hold it for 30 seconds. Let it saturate your cells. Then return to work carrying that frequency into whatever task is in front of you. You just shifted your broadcast signal 5 times. That's 5 frequency deposits into your wealth account. Lunchtime is critical. This is where most people tank their frequency completely. They eat bad food fast while consuming bad news or scrolling social media, comparing themselves to others. By the time they return to work, their vibration is in the basement. They've undone any morning calibration, and they're now broadcasting stress, lack, and exhaustion for the entire afternoon. Conroe gives you a massive advantage at lunch. You have nature, you have space, you have Lone Star Monument, parks, the lake, spots where you can step away from the grind and recalibrate. Use them. A 15-minute walk in a park where you consciously tune back into prosperity frequency is worth more than an hour of desperate hustle from a depleted state. Here's what I do. I find a spot outside, anywhere with trees or water visible. I eat slowly, like someone who has all the time in the world, because abundance isn't scarce or rushed. While I eat, I look for evidence of prosperity around me. A nice car in the parking lot, someone laughing on their phone, clearly not stressed about money. A bird that looks completely provided for by nature. I let these images remind my nervous system that abundance is the default setting of reality. Lack is the anomaly. Conroe is soaked in prosperity. I'm just remembering to tune in. Then I do what I call the reset breath. 3 deep breaths where I consciously release any frequency of struggle I picked up during the morning and breathe in Conroe's wealth signature. Inhale abundance. Exhale resistance. Inhale flow. Exhale force. Inhale magnetic ease. Exhale pushing and striving. By breath 3, I can feel the shift. My shoulders drop. My face softens. I'm back online with prosperity. The afternoon is about momentum. You've calibrated in the morning, reset at lunch, now you're in the amplification phase. Everything you do between 1 and 6 p.m. should be building energetic momentum toward wealth. This doesn't mean working harder. It means working while maintaining your tuned frequency and looking for signs that the universe is responding to your signal. These signs are everywhere once you're tuned in. An unexpected compliment from a coworker, a client who pays early, a refund you forgot about, a surprise lunch invitation, money mentioned in conversation. These aren't random. They're feedback that your frequency is shifting and reality is beginning to reorganize around your new signal. Acknowledge every single one. Say thank you out loud or in your mind. Each acknowledgement amplifies the frequency. Here's something wild that happens when you maintain wealth frequency all day. People start treating you differently, not because you told them anything, not because you changed your clothes or your job title, because energy is contagious and people unconsciously respond to frequency. When you're broadcasting prosperity, certainty, and abundance, people want to be around that. They start including you in conversations about opportunities. They think of you when something good comes up. You become magnetic without trying. Jennifer worked at a dental office in Conroe. She started this frequency work on a Monday. By Thursday, the office manager asked her if she'd be interested in managing a second location they were opening. Jennifer had never mentioned wanting more responsibility. She hadn't applied for anything. But her energy had shifted, and suddenly she was visible as someone ready for expansion. The opportunity matched her new frequency. As the afternoon winds down and you move toward evening, there's another critical window, the golden hour. That time when light changes, when the day is transitioning, when Conroe's energy shifts from active to reflective. This is your lock-in time. Whatever frequency you've built today, you want to cement it now so it doesn't dissolve the moment you get home and collapse into old patterns. Find a spot where you can watch the sunset, or at least be outside during this transition time. It doesn't have to be long. Even 5 minutes works. As the light changes, consciously review your day through the lens of abundance. Not what went wrong or what you didn't finish, what went right. What evidence appeared that wealth is flowing, what moments felt easeful, what tiny signs showed up that your frequency is shifting. Make a mental list or actually write them down. This practice trains your brain to filter for prosperity instead of problems. The gratitude you feel during golden hour isn't fake positivity. It's strategic frequency management. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to tune into wealth because it's impossible to feel genuinely grateful and simultaneously vibrate at lack. When you're appreciating what already exists, you're in the frequency of abundance. When you're focused on what's missing, you're in the frequency of scarcity. Your evening gratitude grid is literally programming your nervous system to default to abundance. Here's the visualization I want you to try during this golden hour time. Close your eyes and imagine Conroe from above, like you're seeing it from a helicopter. See the lake, the forests, the neighborhoods, the businesses. Now imagine threads of golden light connecting all the places where wealth is flowing. Houses where people feel abundant, businesses that are thriving, accounts where money is growing. These threads create a grid, a network of prosperity energy covering the whole town. Now see a thread extending from that grid directly to you. See it click into place. Feel it lock in. You're not separate from Conroe's wealth grid. You're connected, plugged in, part of the circuit. Open your eyes and know it's done. That visualization isn't pretend. You're working with real energy. Conroe's prosperity field is actual. When you consciously connect to it, you're not making something up. You're acknowledging what already exists and positioning yourself to receive from it. The grid doesn't care about your bank balance or your job title. It only responds to frequency. Match the frequency. Access the grid. Now you're heading home. This transition is dangerous. You've done good work all day maintaining your wealth frequency, but the moment you walk through your door, there's a pattern waiting for you. Your home has a default frequency, and unless you've deliberately changed it, that frequency is probably some version of tired, stressed, not enough. You walk into that field, and within 5 minutes, all your calibration work dissolves. You have to treat your home like a frequency sanctuary. Before you even unlock the door, pause. Take a breath. Decide consciously that you're bringing wealth frequency into this space, not adopting whatever frequency is already there. When you walk in, you're not collapsing into relief that the day is over. You're entering as someone who lives in prosperity, and your home reflects that. Look at your space through wealth-tuned eyes. What needs to shift? I'm not talking about expensive renovations. I'm talking about energetic hygiene. Clutter holds stagnant frequency. Clear it. Broken things broadcast malfunction. Fix or remove them. Spaces that feel heavy or dark hold resistance. Open them up. Add light. Shift the energy. Your home should feel like a place where abundance lives, not a place where you hide from lack. Michael lived in a small apartment off Highway 105. Nothing fancy, but he decided to treat it like a millionaire's home. He cleaned thoroughly. He arranged furniture to create flow. He added plants. He put up art that made him feel expansive. He played music that vibrated at joy and ease. Within 3 weeks, his apartment felt completely different. More importantly, he felt different in it. He started sleeping better, waking up more energized, having ideas in the shower. His home became a frequency incubator, and everything in his life started accelerating. Your evening routine is where wealth gets programmed into your subconscious. Most people spend their evenings consuming content that vibrates at fear, drama, conflict, or lack. News, social media, shows about crime or struggle. Then they wonder why they wake up anxious. You're marinating in low frequency for 3 hours before bed and expecting to wake up vibrating at prosperity. It doesn't work that way. Curate your evening input like your wealth depends on it. Because it does. What you consume in the 3 hours before sleep is what your subconscious processes all night. If you're watching financial disaster shows, your subconscious is rehearsing lack for 8 hours. If you're listening to people complain about money, your subconscious is encoding scarcity. But if you're reading about wealth, listening to prosperity teachings, watching content about people thriving, your subconscious is running abundance algorithms all night. Dinner is another ritual opportunity. The wealthiest people in Conroe aren't inhaling takeout in front of a screen. They're eating intentionally, often with gratitude, treating the meal as nourishment not just for body, but for their wealth frequency. You can do the same with whatever you're eating. Sit down, eliminate distractions, taste your food. Feel appreciation that you have food, that you have choice, that abundance is already present in this moment. As you eat, imagine every bite is infused with prosperity codes. Sounds strange, but your body responds to intention. If you eat while stressed, your body receives stress. If you eat while grateful and abundant, your body receives that frequency. Food becomes a carrier wave for whatever signal you're broadcasting. Make it wealth. Between 9 and 11 p.m., you have the most powerful programming window of your entire day. Your conscious mind is winding down, your defenses are lowering, your subconscious is opening up to receive. This is when you install the operating system for tomorrow. Most people waste this window, scrolling or worrying. You're going to use it to become wealthy while you sleep. Here's the protocol. An hour before bed, no screens. None. Your phone, TV, computer, all off. This isn't about being anti-technology. It's about protecting your frequency. Screens stimulate your nervous system and broadcast chaotic frequency. You need calm, coherent, wealth-tuned energy going into sleep. Read something that elevates you. Journal about what you're grateful for. Sit in silence and feel into the version of you that already has the wealth you're calling in. This last part is crucial. Before you close your eyes to sleep, spend 5 minutes living as future you. The you who wakes up to money opportunities. The you who is recognized by Conroe's prosperity grid. The you whose energy precedes them and opens doors. Don't visualize this person. Become this person. Feel their calm certainty, their relaxed knowing, their ease with abundance. Fall asleep as them, not as current you hoping to become them. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between experienced reality and vividly imagined reality. If you fall asleep feeling wealthy, your subconscious processes that as truth and starts reorganizing your behavior, your perceptions, your choices to match that truth. You wake up slightly different, more aligned, more resonant, more magnetic. Do this every night for a week, and the shift is undeniable. While you sleep, your frequency continues broadcasting. This is why the pre-sleep programming matters so much. If you fall asleep worried about money, you broadcast lack for 8 hours straight. If you fall asleep feeling abundant, you broadcast wealth for 8 hours. Your energy doesn't turn off when you do. It keeps transmitting. Make sure it's transmitting the right signal. There's something happening in Conroe at night that most people never tune into. The town is quieter, but the prosperity field is still active. Money is still moving. Deals are still forming in people's minds. Wealth is still circulating. While you sleep, you can be harmonizing with that flow or disconnected from it. The difference is your pre-sleep frequency setting. Imagine Conroe as a giant organism that breathes wealth. During the day, it's active, visible, obvious. At night, it's subtle, quiet, but still breathing. Your sleep state can sync with that breath or ignore it. When you're synced, you're downloading prosperity codes all night. You're receiving wealth information, opportunity awareness, magnetic upgrades. You wake up different because you've been tuning all night. Some people report having dreams about money or abundance when they start this work. That's your subconscious processing the new frequency and integrating it. Don't dismiss those dreams as random. They're signs that recalibration is happening at a deep level. Your internal system is reorganizing around wealth as the new normal. Now let's talk about the 7-day protocol, because this isn't about one perfect day. It's about creating a self-sustaining wealth frequency that builds on itself. Day 1 is calibration. You're finding the signal, learning what Conroe's prosperity frequency feels like, establishing your baseline practices. You might not feel massive shifts yet. You're tuning the dial. Trust the process. Day 2 is confirmation. This is when you start seeing signs that something is shifting. Small things. A penny on the ground. Someone mentions money. You think about a person and they text. These aren't coincidences. They're feedback that your frequency is changing and reality is starting to respond. Acknowledge every single sign. This amplifies the momentum. Day 3 typically brings a test. Something happens that would normally trigger your old scarcity response. An unexpected bill, a payment delay, something breaks. This is not evidence that it's not working. This is the universe checking if you're committed to the new frequency or going to snap back to the old one at the first challenge. Hold steady. Maintain your wealth vibration even when circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. This is where most people quit. Don't be most people. If you hold your frequency through Day 3's test, Day 4 is when momentum really kicks in. Things start flowing more easily. Conversations happen that lead somewhere. Ideas pop up that feel exciting. People are more responsive. You're starting to feel like you're in a current pulling you forward instead of swimming against the tide. This is your magnetic field strengthening. Day 5 is amplification. Whatever you've been doing, you do it more consciously, more deliberately, with more trust. You're not trying to make things happen anymore. You're maintaining your frequency and watching what shows up. Often, Day 5 brings an unexpected opportunity or a door opening you didn't see coming. It might be small, it might be big. It's confirmation that you're resonant with wealth now. Day 6 is embodiment. The practices that felt effortful on Day 1 now feel natural. You don't have to remind yourself to tune into prosperity. You're just there. Your default frequency has shifted. You catch yourself thinking like a wealthy person without trying, making choices from abundance instead of scarcity. Moving through Conroe like you belong in the prosperity grid because you do. Day 7 is integration. This is when the new frequency becomes your set point. It's not something you're doing anymore. It's who you're being. Your nervous system has accepted wealth as normal. Your subconscious expects abundance. Your energy automatically broadcasts prosperity. You've completed the recalibration. Now you just maintain and allow it to keep building. But here's what happens after Day 7 that nobody talks about. Your old frequency will try to reassert itself. You'll have a moment or a day where you slip back into scarcity thinking. This is normal. This is not failure. This is your system testing if the new frequency is really your new normal or just a temporary state. When this happens, you don't panic. You don't decide it didn't work. You simply use your emergency reset tools. The 3-breath reset is your fastest recalibration tool. When you notice you've slipped into lack frequency, stop whatever you're doing. Take 3 very deliberate breaths. Breath 1. Release the scarcity thought. Literally exhale it out. Breath 2. Call in Conroe's prosperity frequency. Inhale it like you're breathing in golden light. Breath 3. Anchor into your wealthy identity. Feel yourself as the version who attracts abundance easily. 3 breaths, 30 seconds. You're back. Conroe has physical anchor points you can use for instant recalibration. Lake Conroe itself is one. When you're feeling off frequency, drive to the lake. Stand at the water's edge. Let the sight of all that flow remind you that abundance is always moving, always available, always circulating. The lake never worries about running dry. It receives from rainfall, from streams, from underground springs. It gives to the town, to recreation, to beauty. It flows. So does wealth. Tune back in. Downtown Conroe has a frequency, too. Walk through the historic district, feel the energy of commerce, of exchange, of value being created and shared. This isn't struggle energy, it's flow energy. Businesses opening, people buying, money circulating. Let that energy recalibrate you. You're part of this flow. You're not outside it looking in. You're in the current. April Sound, River Plantation, these neighborhoods broadcast wealth frequency just by existing. You don't have to live there to benefit from their energy. Drive through slowly. Look at the homes. Feel the frequency of people who live with abundance as their baseline. Don't compare yourself. Don't feel lack. Feel possibility. Feel access. That frequency is available to you. It's not exclusive. It's inclusive to anyone willing to match it. Your social circle will make or break your frequency work. If you're surrounded by people who constantly complain about money, who speak lack, who vibrate at struggle, it's incredibly hard to maintain wealth frequency. Not impossible, but hard. You have two choices. Either elevate the frequency of your current circle by being the tuning fork, or start spending more time around people whose frequency matches where you're going. This doesn't mean abandoning your friends. It means being conscious about energy. When you're with people who vibrate at scarcity, you don't have to match them. You can hold your frequency, and sometimes, just by being in your field, they start to shift. But if being around them consistently pulls you down, you need to protect your recalibration by limiting exposure until you're strong enough in your new frequency that they can't shake you. Conroe has communities of people vibrating at prosperity. Find them. Business networking groups, entrepreneurial meetups, investment clubs, even certain coffee shops where the energy is different. You'll feel it when you walk in. The conversation is about possibility, growth, opportunities. People are excited, collaborative, abundant. Spend time in those fields. Let that frequency become familiar to your nervous system. Have you noticed how your thoughts about money have shifted even just reading this? That's not accident. You're being tuned right now. Your frequency is adjusting as you absorb this information. The question is, will you maintain this new tuning or let it fade back to your old default? That choice is moment by moment, thought by thought, breath by breath. Let me tell you about David. He did this work for 6 months, diligently. Every day he tuned into Conroe's prosperity frequency. He saw signs, felt shifts, noticed opportunities appearing. But he had one major resistance he couldn't quite release. He kept thinking he needed to know how the money would come. He needed a plan, a strategy, a logical path from here to there. That need for how was blocking the flow. One day he was sitting at his kitchen table, frustrated. He'd done everything right, but the big breakthrough wasn't happening. Then something inside him just surrendered. He thought, fine, I don't know how. I don't need to know how. I'm just going to hold the frequency and trust that wealth knows how to find me. That surrender was the key. Within 2 weeks, he was offered a partnership in a business he hadn't even known existed. The how came. It always does. But it can't come while you're strangling the flow with need to control it. The money you're calling in doesn't need your help figuring out the route. It needs your frequency as a homing beacon. When you're vibrating at wealth, opportunities, people, ideas, resources, they all have a signal to follow. They can find you. But if your frequency is muddled with doubt and control, and how is this going to work, the signal is scrambled. Things that want to reach you can't get a clear lock. Your job is not to figure it out. Your job is to tune in and stay tuned in. Be the clearest, most consistent prosperity signal in Conroe. Broadcast so strongly that wealth has no choice but to flow toward you, because you're resonant with it. This is not passive. This is active, energetic work. But it's different than the hustle you're used to. Think about it this way. When you're trying to make money from scarcity frequency, you're pushing a boulder uphill. Effort, strain, force, grinding. When you're attracting money from prosperity frequency, you're floating downstream. Aligned, flowing, allowing, receiving. Both are active in different ways. One exhausts you, one energizes you. Which one have you been doing? Conroe gives you everything you need to make this shift permanent. The nature, the water, the community, the existing prosperity field, the relatively low stress compared to Houston's chaos. You're in an ideal location for wealth frequency work. The question is, are you taking advantage of what's available, or are you ignoring the resources right in front of you? I want you to imagine something with me. Close your eyes if you're in a safe place to do so, or just soften your focus. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. You've been maintaining wealth frequency for 12 months. Every morning, you wake and tune in. Every day, you hold prosperity as your baseline. Every evening, you lock in the abundance you experienced. What does your life look like? What does your bank account show? How do opportunities come to you? How do people respond to you? What feels different in your body when you think about money? Let yourself feel into this future version fully. This isn't fantasy. This is available frequency. You're just previewing the station you're tuning into. Now open your eyes and realize something crucial. That future version of you already exists in quantum potential. They're not something you have to become. They're a frequency you have to match. The gap between current you and future you isn't time or effort. It's frequency. The moment your vibration matches theirs, you collapse the distance. Time compresses. What seemed like it would take years happens in months or weeks. This is how people have seemingly overnight success. They didn't work harder suddenly. They shifted frequency and became resonant with a reality that was already available, but they couldn't access before. You have overnight successes waiting for you right now in Conroe. Not overnight in terms of zero effort, but overnight in terms of seemingly sudden manifestation once your frequency locks in. The practices I've given you are not suggestions. They're recalibration technology. Each one is designed to shift you away from scarcity frequency and toward prosperity frequency. The morning scan, the breakfast ritual, the commute rewire, the workspace sphere, the lunch reset, the golden hour gratitude, the evening sanctuary, the pre-sleep programming. These aren't separate things. They're a comprehensive frequency management system that keeps you tuned in all day long. Most people try one practice once and expect magic. That's not how frequency works. You wouldn't expect to tune a guitar once and have it stay in tune forever through temperature changes and playing. You retune regularly. Same with your wealth frequency. You're retuning throughout the day, every day, until being in tune becomes your natural state. After you've been doing this for a while, something shifts. The practices become effortless. You don't have to think about tuning in. You're just tuned in. Prosperity frequency becomes your default, and scarcity becomes the rare exception that you quickly correct. When you reach this point, wealth stops being something you're trying to attract and starts being something you naturally emanate. People will notice. They won't necessarily know what's different about you, but they'll feel it. You'll get comments like, "You seem really good," or "What's going on with you lately?" or "There's something different about your energy." That's them picking up on your frequency shift. They're feeling the prosperity field you're generating. Some will be drawn to it. Some will be uncomfortable around it because it highlights their own lack frequency. Let them respond however they need to. You just maintain your signal. There will be moments when the old you tries to convince you this isn't working. Old you is invested in staying small because small is familiar and safe. Old you will point to evidence of lack and say, "See, nothing's changed." When this happens, you don't argue with old you. You don't try to convince them. You simply notice the thought, thank it for trying to protect you, and return to your wealth frequency. Old you gets quieter over time when you stop feeding it attention. Here's a question worth sitting with. What would you do differently today if you absolutely knew, without doubt, that wealth was already on its way to you? Not hoping it might come, not working to make it come, but knowing it's already in motion, already locked onto your signal, already finding its way to you. How would you move through Conroe? How would you interact with people? What choices would you make? That's your wealth frequency. That's the feeling state you want to practice until it's permanent. The beauty of Conroe is you can practice this in real environments where wealth already exists. You're not imagining abundance in a town that doesn't have it. You're surrounded by evidence that prosperity is here, active, flowing. Your practice is learning to sync with what already exists, not trying to create something from nothing. This makes the work so much easier. Walk through River Plantation, feel the frequency, drive past the marinas, see the boats, the toys, the visible markers of abundant resources. Shop at the nice grocery stores where people buy without calculating every dollar. Sit at restaurants where the energy is celebration, not scarcity. You're not window shopping from the outside. You're calibrating to the inside frequency. You belong here. This abundance includes you. Every time you witness wealth in Conroe without feeling separation from it, you're closing the frequency gap. Every time you see success and think that's possible for me too, instead of that's for other people, you're matching the signal. Every time you stand in a prosperous environment and feel aligned instead of less than, you're completing the circuit. The work is not to get wealth. The work is to become resonant with it. When resonance happens, wealth flows naturally because you're no longer blocking it with mismatched frequency. Think about how a magnet works. It doesn't chase iron filings. It doesn't convince them to come. It doesn't work hard to attract them. It simply is magnetic, and the iron filings move toward it. You're becoming a wealth magnet. The attraction is automatic once the frequency is right. Now, I want to address the biggest obstacle people face: doubt. You'll start this work and part of you will doubt it's real. That's normal. That part of you has been trained by a materialist worldview that says only physical action matters. The idea that frequency, vibration, energy actually affects material reality feels too woo-woo, too convenient, too good to be true. But ask yourself this. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt the energy was off? Have you ever met someone and instantly knew you could trust them or not trust them based on nothing logical. Have you ever had a bad feeling about something that turned out to be accurate? That's frequency. You've been reading frequency your whole life. You've just never been taught to work with it consciously or deliberately. Now you are. The doubt doesn't have to disappear before you start. You can doubt and practice simultaneously. Actually, that's ideal. Do the work while doubting and let the results shift your doubt. Don't wait for perfect belief. Perfect belief comes after evidence, not before. Start noticing micro-manifestations. You tune into wealth frequency in the morning, and by afternoon someone Venmos you money they owed you months ago. You practice abundance at lunch, and by evening a client schedules an extra session. You hold prosperity feeling before sleep, and the next day you find $20 in an old jacket. These small things are not coincidence. They're frequency feedback. Acknowledge them. Count them. Let them build your faith in the process. As the micro-manifestations accumulate, larger shifts start happening. A new client appears. A raise comes through. An unexpected check arrives. A side opportunity opens up. These aren't separate from your frequency work. They're direct results of it. You're broadcasting prosperity, and prosperity is responding. The universe is not withholding wealth from you. You've been withholding yourself from wealth by broadcasting the wrong frequency. Now you're correcting that. Some people get uncomfortable when money starts flowing because they have stories about deserving or earning or paying dues. If you notice resistance when good things happen, when money comes easy, when opportunities fall in your lap, that's a frequency block. You're asking for wealth, but you have unconscious programming that says it shouldn't come this easily. That programming has to be cleared, or it will sabotage every manifestation. The clearing is simple. When something good happens and you feel weird about it, pause. Notice the feeling. Say to yourself, I am allowed to receive easily. Wealth flowing to me is natural and right. I don't have to struggle to deserve abundance. Then consciously feel gratitude for what came and let yourself enjoy it without guilt. Do this every time, and the resistance weakens until it dissolves. Conroe is full of people who receive easily. They don't apologize for their wealth. They don't feel guilty about abundance. They simply accept it as normal. You can adopt that same ease. It's a choice, a frequency choice. Choose to be someone who receives well, who accepts abundance gracefully, who expects good things as standard operating procedure. Here's a practice that accelerates everything. Start giving from your overflow even before the overflow is visible. This seems counterintuitive. How can you give from overflow when you feel like you don't have enough? But this is exactly the point. Giving signals overflow to your nervous system. It says, I have more than I need. I can share. This broadcast changes everything. It doesn't have to be money if money feels tight. Give your time. Give a genuine compliment. Give your attention. Give a smile to a stranger. Give appreciation to someone who helped you. Every act of giving broadcasts the frequency of abundance. You're training your system to operate from surplus instead of scarcity. The universe responds to that frequency by delivering actual surplus. I know a man in Conroe who started tipping extra everywhere. Coffee shop, restaurants, delivery drivers. Not amounts that hurt him financially, but slightly more than expected. He said it was his way of practicing wealth frequency. He was treating money like it was abundant and circulating freely through him. Within a month, his business income increased by exactly the amount he'd been giving extra in tips. Actually, more. The flow he initiated came back amplified. This isn't about manipulation or trying to game the universe. It's about genuinely shifting your relationship with resources from hoarding to flowing. Wealth is a current, not a reservoir. It moves. When you let it flow through you by giving, you become a clear channel for more to flow in. When you clench and hold and refuse to share, you block the channel, and nothing new can enter. Look around Conroe at the wealthiest people. They're generous. They contribute. They support local businesses. They tip well. They donate. They invest in community. They're not wealthy despite their giving. They're wealthy because giving is part of their prosperity frequency. They understand flow. You can understand it too. Let money move through you, not get stuck in you. As you continue this practice day after day, you'll notice your relationship with time shifts. Time used to feel scarce, like you never had enough, always behind, always rushed. But prosperity frequency includes time abundance. When you're tuned to wealth, you have enough time. The day expands. Things take less time. You're more efficient without trying. This isn't time management. This is frequency management affecting your perception and use of time. People comment on this. You'll hear things like, "How do you get so much done?" or "You always seem so calm." It's because you're not operating from time scarcity anymore. You're in time abundance. You trust that there's enough time for what matters. This trust allows you to move through your day with ease instead of franticness. Franticness is scarcity frequency. Ease is prosperity frequency. Your health often improves during this work, not because you're trying to be healthier, but because stress decreases. When you're vibrating at scarcity, your nervous system is in constant low-grade fight or flight. That's exhausting. That's inflammatory. That breaks down your body over time. When you shift to prosperity frequency, your nervous system relaxes. Your body can repair. Your sleep improves. Your energy increases. Wealth isn't just money. It's wholeness. Notice how different your body feels when you're in prosperity frequency versus scarcity frequency. Scarcity makes you tight, contracted, tense, shallow breathing, shoulders up, jaw clenched. Prosperity makes you open, expansive, relaxed, deep breathing, shoulders down, face soft. Your body is a frequency indicator. Use it. When you notice scarcity in your body, that's your cue to recalibrate. Breathe, reset, tune back in. The same practices work for relationships, by the way. When you're broadcasting prosperity frequency, you attract higher quality relationships, people who are also abundant, generous, positive, growth-oriented. The relationships that drain you start falling away naturally, not because you push them away, but because you're no longer a vibrational match. Some people will rise with you, some won't. Both are okay. Your job is to maintain your frequency and let your social ecosystem reorganize around it. You might lose some friends during this process. That's uncomfortable, but necessary. If you're committed to wealth frequency and they're committed to complaining about lack, eventually the gap becomes too wide. You'll drift apart. It's not good or bad. It's frequency physics. Like tuning forks of different pitches don't resonate together. Let people be where they are. You focus on where you're going. There will be family members who don't understand your shift. They might mock you for being too positive, or accuse you of changing, or say you think you're better than everyone now. You're not better. You're different. You're vibrating differently. And that makes some people uncomfortable because it highlights that they could change too, but they're choosing not to. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain endlessly. Just live your frequency and let your results speak. As your wealth increases, be mindful of lifestyle inflation that happens from scarcity frequency. If you get more money and immediately spend it all upgrading your life, you're still in scarcity. You're still in not enough. Prosperity frequency includes having more than you need, building reserves, creating cushion, freedom. If every increase in income is matched by an increase in spending, you're on a treadmill. Get off. Save and invest from overflow, not from deprivation. There's a difference. Deprivation-based saving feels like punishment. You're depriving yourself now for some future security that never feels secure. Overflow-based saving feels celebratory. You have more than you need today, so you put some aside for future you. It's abundant now and planning for continued abundance. Feel the frequency difference. Conroe has financial advisors, investment groups, wealth education resources. Use them. Prosperity frequency includes being smart with money, not just attracting it. You want to become someone who both receives wealth easily and manages it wisely. The combination creates lasting abundance, not just temporary windfalls that disappear. Here's a question for you. What would wealth allow you to do that you're not doing now? Travel, create, contribute, rest, explore, help others. Get specific, because wealth without purpose is just numbers in an account. But wealth as a tool for living your most expressed life, that's magnetic. The universe loves supporting clear intentions. When you know what the wealth is for, your frequency becomes more focused. You're not just broadcasting, "I want money." You're broadcasting, "I want money so I can travel the world," or "I want money so I can start a foundation," or "I want money so I can work less and create more." That specific frequency has a clearer signal. It's easier for matching opportunities to find you. Write down what wealth means to you beyond money. Freedom, choice, security, adventure, contribution, impact, peace. Whatever your words are, those are your frequency targets. You're not just tuning into generic wealth, you're tuning into your specific flavor of prosperity. This makes the work more personal and more powerful. Imagine you're already living that wealthy life. How do you spend your days? Who do you spend time with? What do you create? Where do you go? What problems do you solve? What brings you joy? Make this vision so clear that your nervous system believes it's real. Because to your nervous system, if you can imagine it vividly, it is real. And if it's real, you start becoming the person who lives that reality. This isn't delusion. This is rehearsal. Athletes visualize their performance before competing. Musicians hear the music before playing. Surgeons mentally walk through procedures. You're mentally walking through your wealthy life, so when opportunities appear, you're ready. You recognize them. You take them. You're prepared. The money you're calling in is looking for someone who's ready. Not perfect. Not completely healed of all wounds. Not without any fear. But ready. Ready to receive. Ready to manage. Ready to grow. Ready to be visible. Are you ready? If the answer is not yet, what would make you ready? Then go do that while maintaining your frequency work. Sometimes the block to wealth is practical. You don't have a bank account that feels good to deposit into. You don't have systems for tracking money. You don't have basic financial infrastructure. Fix that. Open an account that feels abundant. Create a simple budget that gives you clarity. Set up automatic saving, even if it's small. These physical actions support your frequency work. They say, "I'm ready for money to flow." Other times, the block is emotional. Old stories about money being evil or rich, people being bad or you not deserving or having to suffer to earn. These stories run on loop in your subconscious and sabotage everything. You have to identify them and consciously rewrite them. Money is neutral. Wealth in the hands of good people does good. You deserve abundance just by existing. Suffering is not noble. Rewrite the code. One way to rewrite the code is through affirmations, but not the fluffy kind that feel fake. Affirmations that are honest and believable. Instead of "I am a millionaire" when you're not, try "I am becoming more resonant with wealth every day." Instead of "money flows to me effortlessly" when it doesn't yet, try "I am learning to allow money to flow more easily." Meet yourself where you are with statements you can actually believe. That's how you shift the programming. Another powerful rewrite tool is asking better questions. Instead of "Why can't I ever get ahead?" ask "What would it feel like to have financial ease?" Instead of "Why is money always a problem?" ask "What small evidence of abundance can I notice today?" The questions you ask direct your focus. Your focus determines your frequency. Your frequency determines what you attract. Conroe is small enough that you can become known. Known as someone who does good work, who keeps their word, who brings positive energy, who treats people well. That reputation is frequency amplification. When people think of you, they feel good. That good feeling attracts them to want to work with you, hire you, recommend you, include you. Tend your reputation like it's a garden. It's growing your wealth field. Show up consistently. Do what you say you'll do. Be kind even when it's not required. Add value without immediate expectation of return. These behaviors broadcast trustworthiness and abundance. People want to do business with people they trust. They want to support people who've supported them. You're building energetic equity every time you act with integrity. There might be times when acting with integrity costs you short-term money. Someone wants to pay you to do something that doesn't feel right. You could take the money and compromise. Or you could decline and maintain your frequency alignment. Always choose frequency alignment. The short-term money you pass up will return multiplied because you maintained your integrity, which is a prosperity frequency. This isn't being moralistic. This is strategic. When you compromise your values for money, you're broadcasting desperate scarcity. You're saying, "I need this so badly I'll betray myself." That frequency repels larger opportunities. But when you honor yourself, even at a cost, you're broadcasting, "I trust that better aligned abundance is available." That frequency attracts opportunities that match your values and pay better. As you move through this 7-day protocol and then continue beyond it, track your shifts. Keep a journal of evidence, every sign that appears, every opportunity that shows up, every ease that replaces struggle, every synchronicity. When you're in the middle of transformation, it's easy to forget how far you've come. The journal reminds you. It also builds your faith for the next level. Let me give you the exact tracking system that works. Get a notebook dedicated only to this. Every evening before your pre-sleep programming, you're going to write 3 categories. Evidence of shift, which is any sign that your frequency is changing. This could be as small as feeling different when you woke up, or as big as receiving unexpected money. Ease moments, which is any time something flowed that usually feels hard. Maybe traffic was light when it's normally terrible. Maybe a difficult person was pleasant. Maybe work felt effortless for an hour. Gratitude. Highlights, which is 3 specific things from the day you're genuinely grateful for. Not generic gratitude. Specific moments, people, experiences, opportunities. This tracking does something crucial to your nervous system. It trains your brain to filter for prosperity instead of problems. Your brain has a natural negativity bias. It's designed to spot threats and problems to keep you safe, but that bias keeps you vibrating at scarcity because you're constantly scanning for what's wrong. The daily tracking rewires that bias. You start scanning for what's right, what's flowing, what's abundant. After 2 weeks of this tracking, your automatic perception shifts. You genuinely see more opportunities because your brain is now programmed to look for them. Rachel started tracking on a Monday. By Friday, she had 43 entries in her evidence of shift category. 43 things she would have completely missed if she wasn't deliberately looking. A smile from a stranger. A surprise refund of $8. An article about her industry that gave her a business idea. A podcast that answered a question she'd been struggling with. Her coworker bringing extra lunch and sharing it. Finding a parking spot right in front of the building. Her daughter laughing at breakfast. Every single one was evidence that abundance was present, flowing, available. But she would have walked past all of it in scarcity frequency, focused on problems. By week 2, Rachel noticed her evidence list was getting longer without more effort. She wasn't trying harder to find evidence. Evidence was appearing more frequently. That's the shift. When you train your perception to see abundance, your frequency naturally tunes to abundance, which then attracts more abundance, which gives you more to see. It's a self-reinforcing upward spiral. The tracking is the ignition switch for that spiral. You're going to notice patterns in how wealth shows up for you. Maybe money comes through people, maybe through ideas, maybe through unexpected windfalls, maybe through your business growing, maybe through gifts. Everyone has their unique prosperity pathways. Pay attention to yours. Then consciously amplify those pathways while remaining open to new ones appearing. For some people, wealth shows up through relationships. Every major money shift in their life came because someone thought of them, recommended them, introduced them, hired them. If that's your pattern, your practice is relationship tending. Not networking in a gross way. Genuine connection. Reaching out to people you care about. Following up. Being generous with your time and attention. Helping without keeping score. Your wealth pathway is through people, so invest in people with the same intentionality someone else might invest in stock market research. For others, wealth shows up through ideas. They get a hit, a download, a sudden knowing about something to create or offer or shift, and when they act on it, money follows. If that's your pattern, your practice is protecting space for ideas to land. You need quiet. You need walks in nature. You need time away from constant input and stimulation. Your wealth pathway is through inspiration, so create conditions where inspiration can find you. Stop filling every moment with noise and create white space for the downloads. For others, wealth shows up through unexpected windfalls, inheritance, gifts, bonuses, things they didn't plan or work directly toward. If that's your pattern, your practice is openness and receivership. You have to get comfortable with good things happening that you didn't earn through direct effort. You have to release the belief that money is only valid if you suffered for it. Your wealth pathway is through grace, so practice receiving gracefully and trusting that the universe can deliver in ways you'd never orchestrate yourself. Thomas noticed his pattern was through skills. Every income increase in his life came after he learned something new. He'd take a course, develop a capability, and within weeks an opportunity would appear that required exactly that skill. Once he saw the pattern, he got intentional about it. He started investing in learning with the understanding that education was his primary wealth lever. He took a coding boot camp. 3 weeks after graduating, a former colleague reached out about a contract project that paid $38,000. The pattern repeated: learn, then earn. Once he aligned with his pattern instead of fighting it, his wealth acceleration was dramatic. The key is not to force your pathway to look like someone else's. Your frequency signature is unique. Your wealth pathway will be unique. Some people need to hustle and network. Others need to slow down and create space. Some need to take bold action. Others need to surrender control. There's no single right way. There's only your way. And your way reveals itself through paying attention to how abundance has already shown up in your life, then doing more of that. Now let's get into the deep practice scripts. These are the protocols you use when you need intensive recalibration, when you've had a major setback, when scarcity frequency is strong, when doubt is overwhelming your faith, when you need a reset that goes deeper than the 3-breath technique. Think of these as your emergency frequency restoration tools. The first deep practice is the Conroe Wealth Immersion Walk. You're going to take a 2-hour walk through the wealthiest areas of Conroe with one single intention. Absorb the frequency. Not to want what you see, not to compare yourself, not to feel less than or envious, to absorb the energetic signature of prosperity that exists in these spaces. Dress comfortably, bring water, turn off your phone or put it on airplane mode. This walk is a moving meditation. Start at Lake Conroe. Stand at the water's edge and take 10 deep breaths. With each inhale, imagine you're breathing in the frequency of flow, abundance, natural prosperity. With each exhale, release any resistance, any blocks, any scarcity thoughts. After 10 breaths, begin walking. Move slowly. You're not exercising, you're calibrating. As you walk, notice everything that represents wealth: beautiful homes, well-maintained landscaping, nice cars, boats, people who look relaxed and unhurried. Don't look away. Look directly and let yourself feel what prosperity feels like in physical form. When you see something that triggers comparison or lack, pause. Place your hand on your heart. Say quietly or in your mind, "This frequency is available to me. I'm not separate from this abundance. I'm learning to match it." Then continue walking. Every trigger is an opportunity to choose your frequency instead of defaulting to scarcity. By the end of 2 hours, you'll have chosen abundance over scarcity dozens of times. Each choice strengthens the new neural pathway. The second deep practice is the prosperity mirror session. This one is intense, and most people resist it, which is exactly why it's powerful. Set aside 30 minutes when you won't be interrupted. Sit in front of a mirror where you can see your face clearly. Set a timer for 30 minutes. For the entire time, you're going to look into your own eyes and speak your wealth identity out loud. Not affirmations about money coming someday, identity statements about who you are right now. Start with, "I am someone who attracts wealth easily." Say it while looking in your eyes. Notice what comes up. Doubt, disbelief, discomfort, the urge to look away. Stay with it. Keep saying it. "I am someone who attracts wealth easily." Let the resistance surface. Let the old programming scream that it's not true. You're not trying to convince yourself. You're introducing a new frequency and letting the old frequency exhaust itself through expression. Keep going. I am someone prosperity flows to. I am resonant with Conroe's wealth field. I am a match for abundance. I expect good things. Money finds me. Opportunities seek me out. Somewhere around minute 15, something shifts. The resistance gets tired. Your nervous system starts accepting the new information. Your face might soften. You might feel emotion. You might suddenly believe what you're saying. This is the breakthrough moment. This is when the new frequency begins installing at a cellular level. Keep going for the full 30 minutes. By the end, you'll feel different. You'll be different. Your mirror neurons have literally rewired around this new identity. Linda did this practice and described it as the most uncomfortable and most transformative 30 minutes of her life. She cried, she laughed, she felt ridiculous, she felt powerful, she wanted to quit, she kept going. When the timer went off, she looked at herself and genuinely saw someone wealthy for the first time. Not someday wealthy. Already wealthy in frequency, even if the bank account hadn't caught up yet. 2 days later, she received a call about a freelance opportunity worth $12,000. The outer world was responding to her inner frequency shift. The third deep practice is the scarcity inventory and purge. This is shadow work. You're going to deliberately surface every scarcity belief you're carrying, write it down, and then consciously release it. Get a notebook and set a timer for 20 minutes. At the top of the page, write, "My scarcity beliefs are." Then let it flow. Don't edit, don't judge, just dump every limiting belief about money onto the page. Money is hard to make. I'm not good with money. Rich people are greedy. I don't deserve wealth. There's never enough. I always struggle financially. Money comes and goes. I can't keep money. I'm bad at sales. I'm not smart enough to be wealthy. Whatever comes up, write it down. Most people are shocked by how many scarcity beliefs they're carrying. The beliefs run like background programs determining their financial reality without them even knowing. Once you have the full list, you're going to neutralize each one. Next to each scarcity belief, write the frequency-shifted truth. Money is hard to make becomes, I'm learning to allow money to flow easily. I'm not good with money becomes, I'm developing a wealthy relationship with money. Rich people are greedy becomes wealthy people with good hearts do tremendous good. I don't deserve wealth becomes, I deserve abundance simply by existing. After you've rewritten every belief, you're going to do a burning ceremony. Take the original scarcity page outside or to your sink. Read each belief one last time and say out loud, I release this frequency. It no longer serves me. I reclaim my energy and my power. Then burn the page safely or tear it into tiny pieces and wash it down the drain. The physical act of destroying the old beliefs signals to your subconscious that they're done. They're gone. The new beliefs are what's true now. This ceremony is surprisingly powerful. You'll feel lighter immediately. Now let's talk about relapse proofing, because here's what nobody tells you. The shift to prosperity frequency is not linear. You don't just ascend to wealth vibration and stay there forever. You're going to have dips, days when scarcity comes back strong, moments when doubt overwhelms you, periods when it feels like nothing's working. These relapses don't mean you failed. They mean you're human, and you're working with decades of old programming that doesn't give up easily. The relapse-proofing plan has 3 levels. Level 1 is for minor dips. You notice you're thinking scarce thoughts, but you haven't spiraled yet. For this, the 3-breath reset works perfectly. Stop what you're doing. 3 conscious breaths. Release scarcity on the exhale. Invite prosperity on the inhale. Anchor into your wealth identity on the 3rd breath. 30 seconds and you're recalibrated. Use this 10 times a day if needed. Each use strengthens your ability to self-correct quickly. Level 2 is for moderate relapses. You've been in scarcity frequency for a few hours or a full day. You're feeling the contraction in your body. You're thinking lack thoughts and believing them. For this, you need the emergency reset protocol. First, stop consuming any media. No news, no social media, no content. Media is almost always broadcasting fear and lack. You can't recalibrate while drinking from a scarcity fire hose. Second, move your body. Go for a walk, do jumping jacks, dance, stretch. Movement shifts energy faster than thinking. Get your body into a different state. Third, manually generate gratitude. Set a timer for 5 minutes and speak out loud everything you're grateful for. Don't think it, speak it. Your voice carries vibration, and speaking gratitude aloud shifts your frequency immediately. Keep going even after you've listed the obvious things. Get granular. I'm grateful for my coffee this morning, for my warm shower, for my car that starts, for my neighbor who smiled at me, for my breath, for my health, for this moment, for another chance to choose differently. By minute 5, your frequency will have shifted noticeably. Fourth, do something generous. Give a compliment to someone. Buy coffee for the person behind you in line. Send a thank you text. Donate $5 to a cause. Generosity is abundance in action. When you give, you signal to your nervous system that you have enough to share. That signal alone can pull you out of scarcity spiral. Don't underestimate this. Some of the fastest frequency shifts happen through simple acts of giving. Level 3 is for major relapses. You've been in scarcity for days or weeks. Something happened that knocked you completely off your frequency. You've lost faith in the process. You're convinced it's not working. For this, you need the full recalibration intensive. Clear a full day. You're going to spend the entire day deliberately tuning back into prosperity frequency with no distractions, no compromises, total commitment. Wake early. Start with the mirror session, even if it's a shorter version, 20 minutes minimum. Look yourself in the eyes and reclaim your wealth identity. Then do the Conroe Wealth Immersion Walk, 2 full hours minimum. Absorb prosperity frequency from the environment. Return home and do the scarcity inventory and purge. Get those limiting beliefs out of your system. Then spend the afternoon in creation mode. Write, plan, design. Build something that represents your wealthy future. A vision board, a business plan, a creative project. Put your energy into building instead of dwelling on what's not working. Evening, do a long gratitude session. Journal for 30 minutes about everything in your life that's already abundant. Your relationships, your health, your skills, your experiences, your growth, your opportunities. Let yourself feel genuinely wealthy in non-financial ways first. Then watch or read something that inspires your wealth frequency. A documentary about someone who succeeded. A book about prosperity. Content that reminds you what's possible. End the day with the longest pre-sleep programming session you've ever done. 30 minutes of living as future wealthy you before falling asleep as them. 1 full day of this intensive and you'll be back online. Your frequency will have reset. Your faith will be restored. Your momentum will return. Mark this in your calendar right now. The first time you have a major relapse, you know exactly what to do. You don't flounder, you don't quit. You execute the Level 3 protocol, and you come back stronger. Victor had a major relapse in month 2. He'd been doing great, seeing signs, feeling shifts. Then he got hit with a $5,000 unexpected expense and completely lost it. He spiraled for a week. All his old money stories came flooding back. He was convinced the frequency work was nonsense, and he was stupid for believing it. Then he remembered the Level 3 protocol. He cleared a Saturday and did the full intensive. By Sunday morning, he felt completely different. The expense hadn't changed. His frequency had. Within 10 days, he received a client payment he'd written off as lost months ago, $4,200. The universe didn't create the problem. It tested his commitment to the new frequency. He passed the test by choosing recalibration over collapse. Now the day-by-day micro-challenges. These are specific practices for each day of the 7-day protocol that build your frequency muscles progressively. Day 1 is about awareness. Your only job today is to notice how often you're in scarcity frequency versus prosperity frequency. You're not trying to change it yet. You're just becoming aware. Every hour, pause and ask yourself, what frequency am I broadcasting right now? Scarcity feels like contraction, worry, not enough, striving. Prosperity feels like expansion, trust, sufficiency, allowing. Just notice. Keep a tally. By the end of day 1, you'll have a baseline of how much time you currently spend in each frequency. Most people are shocked to discover they're in scarcity frequency 80 to 90% of their waking hours. They had no idea. They thought they were positive and optimistic, but when they actually track it, they realize the undercurrent of worry and not enough is constant. That awareness alone begins the shift because you can't change what you're not aware of. Day 1 gives you the data. Now you know what you're working with. Day 2 is about interruption. Now that you're aware of when you're in scarcity frequency, today you interrupt it. Every time you notice scarcity, you stop and interrupt the pattern. Clap your hands, stomp your foot, say out loud, stop. Shake your body. Do something physical that breaks the mental loop. You're training your nervous system that scarcity frequency is no longer acceptable. You're not going to let it run unchallenged. This feels silly at first. Do it anyway. The interruption creates a gap. In that gap, you have choice. You can return to scarcity, or you can choose prosperity. The interruption makes the choice possible. Sandra did day 2 at her office, and her coworkers thought she was losing it. Every time she noticed herself worrying about money, she'd physically shake her hands like she was shaking off water. It looked weird, but it worked. The physical interruption broke the mental pattern. By the end of day 2, she was catching scarcity thoughts faster and interrupting them before they could build momentum. Her coworkers stopped commenting and started asking what she was doing because her energy was noticeably different. Day 3 is about replacement. You're aware. You're interrupting. Now you're replacing scarcity frequency with prosperity frequency in real time. Every time you interrupt a scarcity thought, you immediately replace it with a prosperity thought, not fake positivity, a genuine frequency shift. If the scarcity thought is, "I don't have enough money for this," the replacement might be, "I'm learning to trust that resources appear when I need them." If the scarcity thought is "this will never work," the replacement might be "I'm open to this working in ways I haven't imagined yet." The replacement has to be believable to you, or your system will reject it. The replacement thought doesn't have to be the opposite extreme. It just has to be a higher frequency than where you were. If you're at a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, you don't have to jump to a 10. Jump to a 4. That's progress. That's frequency elevation. Do this all day. Interrupt and replace. Interrupt and replace. You're literally rewiring your neural pathways. The old scarcity pathway is getting less traffic. The new prosperity pathway is getting more traffic. With enough repetition, the prosperity pathway becomes the default. Day 4 is about anchoring. You're building this new frequency, but it still feels fragile. Today, you're going to anchor it into your body, so it's not just mental. Find 5 moments throughout the day when you feel genuinely good. Maybe your morning coffee tastes amazing. Maybe a song you love comes on. Maybe someone gives you a compliment. Maybe you see something beautiful. In those moments of feeling good, stop and deliberately amplify the feeling. Put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. Savor the good feeling. Let it spread through your whole body. Then say to yourself, "This is my natural frequency. This is prosperity." I anchor this feeling now. You're training your body to recognize and remember what prosperity frequency feels like physically. Not as a concept, but as a felt sense. When you can access that feeling in your body at will, you have a powerful calibration tool. Anytime you notice you've dropped into scarcity, you can recall that anchored feeling and shift back. Your body becomes the tuning fork. The more you practice anchoring good feelings throughout the day, the easier it becomes to generate prosperity frequency on command. Day 5 is about evidence collection. By now, you've been practicing for 4 days. Today, you're going to aggressively look for evidence that it's working. Evidence that your frequency is shifting and reality is responding. Set an intention when you wake up. Today, I'm going to notice at least 10 signs that abundance is flowing. Then pay attention. The signs will be there. Someone lets you merge in traffic. A green light you needed. A parking spot opens up right as you arrive. Someone pays you a compliment. A friend reaches out. A discount you didn't expect. Money mentioned in conversation. An idea that excites you. Every time you notice evidence, acknowledge it out loud or write it down immediately. Thank you. I see this sign. I receive this confirmation. The acknowledgement is crucial. It tells the universe you're paying attention, which encourages more signs to appear. Most people miss 90% of the evidence because they're not looking for it. Today, you're looking deliberately. By the end of day 5, you should have a long list of evidence that your frequency work is creating real shifts. That evidence builds unshakable faith. Day 6 is about sharing. Frequency amplifies when you give it away. Today, you're going to consciously share your prosperity frequency with others. This doesn't mean talking about your practices or trying to convert anyone. It means letting your energy affect the people around you. Smile at strangers. Give genuine compliments. Tip generously. Help someone without being asked. Listen fully when someone speaks. Be present. Be kind. Be generous with your positive energy. You're radiating prosperity frequency and letting it touch everyone you encounter. What happens when you do this is magical. People respond to your energy. They smile back. They open up. They're kinder in return. Some will even comment that you seem different or ask what's going on with you. You're literally uplifting the collective frequency just by maintaining your own. And here's the bonus. Every time you give your prosperity frequency away, it strengthens in you. Generosity reinforces abundance. By the end of day 6, your frequency will be stronger than it's ever been because you've been pumping it out into the world all day. Day 7 is about integration. This is the day you stop efforting and start being. All the practices you've been doing, today you let them become automatic. You're not trying to maintain prosperity frequency. You're simply being in prosperity frequency. It's your new default. When scarcity thoughts arise, you notice them without attachment, and they dissolve quickly. When abundance appears, you receive it naturally without surprise. You move through Conroe as someone who belongs to the wealth grid. You're not pretending, you're not faking, you're genuinely vibrating differently, and you can feel it. On day 7, do a review. Look back at your tracking journal from the week. Notice how much evidence accumulated, how many shifts happened, how different you feel from day 1. Celebrate this. You just completed a complete frequency recalibration. You're not the same person who started 7 days ago. Your nervous system has been rewired. Your baseline vibration has elevated. Your magnetic field has strengthened. Now the question is, what next? After day 7, you continue. This isn't a 1-week fix and you're done. This is a new operating system that you run permanently. The practices become your daily rituals. The frequency becomes your identity. The evidence keeps accumulating. And here's what you'll notice. Week 2 builds on week 1. Week 3 builds on week 2. The momentum compounds. What felt like effort in week 1 feels effortless by week 4. What felt impossible in week 1 feels inevitable by week 8. Gregory did the 7-day protocol, then kept going. By week 4, he'd manifested 3 separate income increases totaling $9,000 more per month. By week 8, he'd started a side business that was generating another $4,000. By week 12, he'd quit his job and was making more from his business than he'd ever made as an employee. People called it luck. He knew it was frequency. He tuned into prosperity and stayed tuned in. Reality reorganized to match. Let's talk about specific income-generating practices you can layer onto the frequency work. Because some people worry that this is all energetic and no action. But here's the truth. Right action from prosperity frequency creates completely different results than the same action from scarcity frequency. 2 people can make the same sales call, one from desperation, one from abundance. The words might be identical, the frequency is opposite. Guess who closes the deal? The first income-generating practice is value inventory. Make a list of every skill you have, every experience you've accumulated, every problem you know how to solve. Be comprehensive. Include things you think are obvious or not valuable. Can you organize? That's a skill. Can you write clearly? That's a skill. Can you make people laugh? That's a skill. Can you fix things? That's a skill. Do you know how to navigate bureaucracy? That's a skill. Most people are sitting on massive value they've completely dismissed as not special. Someone somewhere needs exactly what you know how to do. Once you have the inventory, look for overlap with market need. What problems are people in Conroe struggling with that you could solve? Where are your skills and their needs aligned? That intersection is opportunity. You don't have to invent something new. You don't have to be the best in the world. You just have to solve a real problem for real people and charge appropriately for your value. From prosperity frequency, this feels abundant and exciting. From scarcity frequency, this feels impossible and scary. See the difference? The second income-generating practice is visibility commitment. Decide right now that you're going to make yourself findable. Create or update your LinkedIn profile. Join local business groups. Attend networking events. Comment on social media posts in your industry. Write articles or posts sharing your knowledge. Let people know what you do and how you help. Most people stay invisible out of fear and then wonder why opportunities don't find them. Opportunities can't find what they can't see. Get visible. From prosperity frequency, visibility feels generous. You're sharing value. You're making it easy for people who need you to discover you. Maria was terrified of visibility. She had valuable bookkeeping skills but never told anyone. She stayed in her underpaying job because it felt safe. After shifting to prosperity frequency, she decided to get visible. She updated her LinkedIn. She joined a local women's business group. She started commenting on posts about bookkeeping challenges with helpful tips. Within 3 weeks, someone from the business group messaged her asking if she took clients. Within 2 months, she had 4 clients paying her more combined than her job did. Within 4 months, she quit the job and went full-time freelance. The skills were always there. The frequency shift made her willing to be seen. The third income-generating practice is opportunity recognition and action. When you're in prosperity frequency, you'll start noticing opportunities everywhere. An offhand comment someone makes about needing help with something, a complaint in a Facebook group that you could solve, a gap in the market that's obvious to you, a skill you have that someone would pay for. These opportunities have always been there, but scarcity frequency makes you dismiss them as too small, too hard, not for you, above your pay grade. Prosperity frequency makes you think, why not me? When you notice an opportunity, you take immediate action. Not perfect action, immediate action. Send the message, make the call, submit the proposal, reach out to the person. You're not waiting until you're ready or you have it all figured out. You're trusting that the opportunity appeared because you're resonant with it now. The details will work out. The how will reveal itself. Your job is to say yes and take the first step. From prosperity frequency, this feels natural and exciting, like you're co-creating with the universe. The fourth income-generating practice is money-receiving systems. You need infrastructure for wealth to land in. If someone wants to pay you, can they? Do you have Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, a bank account, invoicing capability? Do you know what to charge? Have you thought about your pricing? Can people easily give you money, or is there friction? Remove every barrier between someone wanting to pay you and money actually hitting your account. Make it easy. Make it smooth. Make it instant when possible. Prosperity flows through open, clear channels. If your channels are clogged with friction, flow slows. Brandon realized he'd been losing money because his invoicing was a mess. He'd do work, then wait weeks to send an invoice because the process felt complicated. Meanwhile, people would forget or move on. Money he'd earned never materialized because he made it hard to pay him. He set up a simple system. Invoice immediately after delivery. Accept multiple payment methods. Make it one-click easy for people to pay. His receivables transformed. Money that used to take months started arriving within days. Same work, better systems, more flow. The fifth income-generating practice is upskilling with intention. Invest in learning what will make you more valuable. but do it strategically from prosperity frequency. Scarcity frequency learning is reactive and fear-based. You learn things because you're afraid you're falling behind or you'll be left out. You collect certifications you never use. You take courses that don't align with any clear goal. It's learning as anxiety management. Prosperity frequency learning is intentional and abundance-based. You identify where you want to go, what skills will take you there, and you invest in developing those specific capabilities. Then you immediately apply what you learn and monetize it. Take a class. Finish the class. Within 1 week, offer a service using what you learned. Don't wait until you're perfect. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until you're certain. You learned a thing. Now you know more than people who haven't learned it. That's value. Offer it. Price it appropriately. Deliver it well. Then learn from the experience and get better. This cycle of learn, apply, monetize, improve creates rapid income growth, but it only works from prosperity frequency, where you trust yourself to figure it out and trust that people will pay for imperfect value delivered enthusiastically. Now let's go deeper into the environmental frequency tuning, because Conroe's physical spaces hold energetic signatures, and you can use them deliberately. Start with your bedroom. This is where you spend 8 hours a day unconscious. If the frequency in your bedroom is stagnant, heavy, cluttered, or chaotic, you're marinating in that for 1/3 of your life. Your bedroom should be a prosperity sanctuary. Clear everything that doesn't need to be there. Remove clutter, old papers, broken items, anything associated with past struggles or people who drain you. Clean thoroughly. Open windows and let fresh air move through. Add elements that represent prosperity to you. This is personal. For some people, it's plants. Living things growing represent abundance in nature. For others, it's art that depicts wealth or beauty or expansion. For others, it's specific colors that feel abundant. Gold, green, deep blue, whatever resonates with prosperity for you. Some people put affirmations on their mirror or nightstand. Some play frequency music at specific hertz levels associated with abundance while they sleep. The specific elements matter less than the intentionality. You're creating a field that supports your wealth frequency 8 hours a day while you're asleep. Jessica completely transformed her bedroom. She removed everything associated with her ex who'd been terrible with money. She painted the walls a soft gold color. She bought new bedding that felt luxurious, even though it wasn't expensive. She added plants and art that made her feel abundant. She played 528 Hz frequency music on low volume all night. Within 2 weeks, her sleep quality improved dramatically. She started waking up with ideas instead of anxiety. Her morning frequency calibration became easier because she was emerging from an environment already tuned to prosperity. The bedroom shift supported everything else. Your car is another key environment. You spend significant time there. Most people's cars are frequency disasters. Trash, clutter, things rolling around, music or talk radio that broadcasts stress and fear. Your car should be a mobile prosperity chamber. Clean it completely. Remove every piece of trash and clutter. Vacuum it. Wipe down surfaces. Make it feel cared for. Then curate what you consume while driving. Audiobooks about wealth, podcasts about success, music that elevates your frequency, silence for processing and calibration, no news, no angry talk radio, no music that makes you feel worse. Add a small symbol of prosperity somewhere visible, a crystal that represents abundance to you, a word written on a card, an image that makes you feel wealthy, something that catches your eye and reminds you to maintain your frequency. Every time you get in your car, you're entering a space that supports your wealth tuning. Every time you drive, you're either reinforcing prosperity or broadcasting scarcity. Make your car work for you. Your workspace, whether home office or employer location, needs frequency attention too. If you can't control the entire space, control your immediate area. Clear your desk, organize your digital files, create visual cleanliness. Add one item that represents prosperity to you. A plant, a stone, a photo of a place that feels abundant, a symbol of a goal. This item is your frequency anchor at work. When stress builds or scarcity thoughts intrude, glance at your anchor item. Let it remind you to recalibrate. 30-second resets throughout the workday keep you from accumulating hours of scarcity frequency. The places you eat matter too. Restaurants and cafes have frequency signatures. Some places vibrate at stress and rush, others at ease and enjoyment. Start noticing the frequency of places before you decide to eat there. If a restaurant feels frantic and harsh, your nervous system will absorb that while you eat. If a cafe feels calm and pleasant, you'll absorb that instead. Choose environments that support your prosperity frequency when possible. When you can't choose, consciously maintain your own field so you don't sink to the ambient stress. Conroe has frequency power spots you can use strategically. Lake Conroe, obviously, but also specific trails, parks, viewpoints, places where nature is strong and human stress is low. Identify 3 locations in Conroe that consistently feel good to you. Make them your reset points. When you need recalibration, visit one of these spots. Spend even just 10 minutes there letting the natural frequency realign you. Nature doesn't vibrate at scarcity. It vibrates at abundance, growth, cycles, flow. Tapping into that regularly keeps your human anxiety from dominating your frequency. There's a spot near the lake on the west side where several wealthy people have told me they go to think and reset. The energy there is different, clear, expansive, calm. It might be the trees, the water proximity, the lack of traffic noise. Whatever it is, that spot has become a known frequency calibration point for locals who understand this work. Find your spots, make them part of your weekly practice. Your frequency benefits from regular nature recalibration. Let's talk about money relationship repair, because for most people, their relationship with money is wounded. Past failures, rejections, losses, disappointments, all stored as energetic scar tissue around the topic of money. Every time money comes up, those old wounds activate and broadcast on the frequency. You can't be in prosperity frequency while simultaneously carrying unhealed money trauma. The trauma has to be addressed. Start with a money history timeline. Get a large piece of paper and draw a line representing your life from birth to now. Mark every significant money memory you have, both positive and negative. The birthday you got $20 and felt rich. The time your family couldn't afford something you wanted. Your first job and paycheck, a financial loss, an unexpected windfall, a time you felt abundant. A time you felt desperately poor. Mark everything. Don't analyze yet. Just get it all visible. Once the timeline is complete, look for patterns. When did your money beliefs get formed? What events created your current relationship with money? Where did you decide money was hard, or you weren't good with it, or you couldn't keep it? These decision points are where the programming got installed. Now you're going to update the programming. Go through each negative money memory and rewrite the meaning. The event stays the same. The meaning changes. Example: original memory and meaning. We couldn't afford the toy I wanted for Christmas. Money is scarce and I don't get what I want. New meaning: that experience taught me to appreciate what I have and showed me resilience. I survived disappointment, and I'm okay. The event doesn't change, but the frequency charge around it neutralizes. You're not carrying it as evidence of lack anymore. You're carrying it as proof of your strength and growth. Go through the entire timeline doing this rewrite. It takes time. It might bring up emotion. That's good. Let the emotion move through. You're releasing decades of frequency charge around money. When you've rewritten every negative memory, burn or destroy the original timeline. Create a new timeline with only the rewritten meanings. This new timeline is your money story now. You came from resilience, learning, growth, and strength, not from lack, failure, and disappointment. Same past, different frequency. Kenneth did this work and realized his entire scarcity frequency came from one event at age 7. His dad lost a job, and the family struggled for 6 months. In that 6 months, 7-year-old Kenneth decided money was unstable and couldn't be trusted. That decision ran his financial life for 38 years. He made good money but couldn't keep it. He'd save. Then something would happen, and it would disappear. The pattern repeated endlessly. When he rewrote that childhood memory to mean my family was resilient and we got through hard times together, the pattern broke. Within a year, he had savings for the first time in his adult life. The past doesn't have to determine your future unless you let it. Another powerful money relationship repair tool is the forgiveness practice. Most people carry resentment about money, toward people who didn't pay them, toward themselves for bad financial decisions, toward the economy or system, toward family members who didn't teach them about money. Resentment is scarcity frequency. It keeps you locked in the past, vibrating at wrongness and victim energy. You have to release it. Make a list of everyone and everything you resent financially. Be honest. Your employer who underpays you, your ex who left you with debt, yourself for that stupid investment, the system that feels rigged, the IRS, your parents, whoever. Get it all on paper. Then go through the list and for each one, say out loud or write, "I forgive you. I release this resentment. It no longer serves me. I reclaim my energy and my power." You're not saying what happened was okay. You're saying you refuse to carry the frequency charge of it anymore. Some forgivenesses are easy, others are incredibly hard. The hardest one for most people is self-forgiveness. Forgiving yourself for every financial mistake, every missed opportunity, every stupid decision. You have to do it anyway. I forgive myself for not knowing better. I forgive myself for trusting the wrong person. I forgive myself for spending money I didn't have. I forgive myself for staying too long in the underpaying job. I forgive myself for all of it. I release the shame and judgment. I am learning and growing. That's what humans do. When you complete the forgiveness practice, you'll feel physically lighter. Resentment is heavy. It weighs you down energetically. When you release it, your frequency rises immediately. You have more energy, more clarity, more space for new possibilities. Forgiveness is not a gift to the people who wronged you. It's a gift to yourself. It's choosing freedom over prison. It's choosing prosperity frequency over scarcity frequency. Now let's address the social dynamics of wealth frequency, because people will react to your shift and you need to be prepared. When you start vibrating at prosperity, the people around you who are stuck in scarcity will respond in predictable ways. Some will be inspired and ask what you're doing. Some will be skeptical and dismissive. Some will be threatened and hostile. Your job is not to convince anyone. Your job is to maintain your frequency, regardless of their reaction. The people who are inspired will naturally gravitate toward you. They feel your shift and want what you have. With these people, you can share openly if you choose. Teach them what you're learning. Support their frequency work. Celebrate their shifts. These connections will become part of your prosperity network. You're building community with people who are moving in the same direction. This community reinforces everyone's frequency and creates collective momentum. The people who are skeptical will challenge you. They'll say things like, "That manifestation stuff doesn't work," or "You're being unrealistic," or "Just wait until real life hits you." They're not attacking you. They're defending their own worldview, where struggle is necessary and ease is suspicious. Don't argue. Don't defend. Just smile and redirect. You don't need them to believe. You need you to believe. Their skepticism has no power unless you give it power. Let them think what they want while you collect evidence that proves them wrong. The people who are threatened are the most difficult. These are often people closest to you. Family, old friends, current co-workers. They've known you as the struggling person. Your shift threatens the identity they have of you and the dynamic they're comfortable with. If you become successful, what does that mean about them still struggling? Your rise highlights their stuckness. That's uncomfortable for them, so they'll try to pull you back down. Subtle digs, reminders of your past failures, doubt disguised as concern. With threatened people, you have boundaries to maintain. You love them. You care about them. But you will not dim your light to make them comfortable. You will not shrink back into scarcity to preserve a relationship. If they can't celebrate your growth, they don't get front-row access to your journey. You can create distance while still being kind. You can limit what you share while still loving them. You protect your frequency first. Always. Danielle's best friend since childhood became hostile when Danielle's business took off. The friend made constant comments about how Danielle was too busy, too focused on money, changing into someone she didn't recognize. The friend wanted old Danielle back, struggling Danielle, commiserating Danielle. But that Danielle was gone. New Danielle was vibrating at prosperity and building wealth. Danielle had to make a painful choice. She created distance from the friend. She stopped sharing her wins. She limited their time together. The friendship eventually faded. It hurt, but Danielle's frequency and future were non-negotiable. As you continue building your prosperity frequency, you'll naturally attract new relationships that match your new vibration. You'll meet people at different events, in different spaces, through different opportunities. These people will feel familiar immediately, even though you just met. That's because you're resonant. You're vibrating at the same frequency. These relationships often become the most valuable in your life. Business partnerships, deep friendships, mentorships, collaborations. They appear because you're finally a match for them. Curtis spent years trying to network his way into wealthy circles. It felt forced and uncomfortable. People could sense he didn't belong energetically. After he shifted his frequency, he stopped trying. He just maintained his prosperity vibration. Within months, he was naturally connecting with successful people everywhere. At the coffee shop, at his kids' school, at the park. They were drawn to his energy. Conversations happened organically. Relationships developed naturally. He found himself in rooms he'd been trying to access for years. But now he belonged there, vibrationally, so there was no resistance. Let's talk about the compound effect of frequency work, because this is where it gets really exciting. In week 1, you're learning the practices and seeing small signs. In week 4, you're seeing measurable shifts and some manifestations. In week 12, your life is noticeably different in multiple areas. In week 26, people from your past wouldn't recognize your reality. The changes compound exponentially, not linearly. This happens because frequency is a spiral. Each practice builds on the last. Each shift makes the next shift easier. Each manifestation increases your faith, which increases your frequency, which attracts larger manifestations. You're not just doing separate practices, you're building momentum that feeds itself. Small frequency increases create small results, which create larger frequency increases which create larger results. It snowballs. The key is consistency through the early stages when results are subtle. Most people quit in week 2 or 3 because they're not seeing massive changes yet. They don't understand the compound curve. The beginning is slow. You're building foundation, you're rewiring nervous system, you're establishing new patterns. The visible results lag behind the energetic shifts, but if you stay consistent, you hit a tipping point. Suddenly, things start flowing fast. Opportunities appear in clusters. Money shows up from multiple sources. Doors open in rapid succession. That's the compound effect kicking in. Imagine your frequency work as filling a bucket with water, one drop at a time. For a while, the bucket looks almost empty. You're dropping water in every day, but it doesn't look like much is happening. People watching would say it's not working. But you keep going, drop after drop. Eventually, the bucket fills to halfway, then 3/4. Then suddenly it's overflowing and water is everywhere. The drops at the end aren't more valuable than the drops at the beginning, but they benefit from all the drops that came before. That's compound frequency. Month 6 is typically when people hit the overflow point. They've been consistent for 6 months. Their frequency is solid. Their practices are automatic. They've rewired significant programming. Then boom, everything starts manifesting at once. Opportunities they set in motion months ago materialize. People they met circle back with offers. Ideas they had suddenly become viable. Income jumps significantly. It looks like overnight success to outsiders. But they know it was 6 months of daily frequency tuning that created the foundation for the rapid manifestation. Here's what you need to understand about timing. The universe doesn't work on your schedule. Just because you've been doing frequency work for 2 weeks doesn't mean your manifestation appears in week 3. There's a gestation period. Things are organizing behind the scenes. People are being moved into position. Opportunities are being created. Resources are being freed up. All of this takes time in the physical world, even though it's instant in the energetic world. Your job is to maintain frequency and trust timing. Some manifestations are quick. You need a parking spot. You tune to abundance. A spot opens immediately. Other manifestations take months. You're calling in a business opportunity that requires several people to make independent decisions that all align for the opportunity to exist. That coordination takes time, but it is happening. Your frequency is the signal calling all the pieces into formation. Don't let slow manifestation convince you it's not working. Complex manifestations take longer than simple ones. Keep transmitting the signal. The biggest mistake people make is changing their frequency in the waiting period. They start the work, they set the intention, they broadcast the signal. Then they check every day to see if it's manifested yet. When it hasn't, they spiral into doubt. They decide it's not working. They drop back into scarcity frequency. They've just interrupted the signal. The manifestation was organizing and they cut off the transmission. Then they complain that manifestation doesn't work. It does work, but you have to maintain the signal until the physical world catches up to the energetic reality. Think about ordering something online. You place the order, the company receives it, they process it, they package it, they ship it, it's in transit. All of this takes time, but the item is coming. It's definitely coming. You don't cancel the order on day 2 because it hasn't arrived yet. You trust the process. You know there's a delivery window. You wait patiently. Manifestation works the same way. You place the energetic order through your frequency. The universe receives it. Things start organizing. Resources are being packaged. The manifestation is in transit. You don't cancel the order by dropping into doubt. You trust the process and maintain your frequency while waiting for delivery. Andrea wanted to manifest a new job making $70,000 minimum. She did the frequency work. She felt the shift. She held prosperity vibration. 2 weeks passed. Nothing. 4 weeks passed. Nothing. 6 weeks passed. Still nothing. She started doubting. Then in week 8, she got a LinkedIn message from a recruiter about a role she hadn't applied for. The job paid $82,000. She interviewed. She got it. She started in week 10. The job had to be posted. The recruiter had to find her profile. The interview had to be scheduled. The decision had to be made. All of that took 10 weeks, but it was coming from the moment she set the frequency. She just had to maintain the signal long enough for the physical manifestation to arrive. Let's address the money ceiling most people have. You might be doing all this frequency work, but there's an invisible limit on how much wealth you can actually receive. That limit is your money ceiling. It's the amount where your nervous system says, "This is as good as it gets for someone like me." Above that ceiling, you unconsciously sabotage. You spend windfall money immediately. You make bad decisions. You create problems that drain resources. You keep yourself at or below the ceiling. Most money ceilings get set in childhood based on what you saw around you. If you grew up in a household making $50,000 a year, your nervous system might have a ceiling around that number. Making more than that feels unfamiliar, unsafe, not for people like me. Even if you consciously want more, your subconscious keeps you capped. To break through, you have to consciously raise your ceiling. The ceiling raising practice is intense but effective. Identify your current money ceiling. What's the most you've ever made in a year? What's the most you've ever had in savings? What's the most monthly income you've sustained? Those numbers show your ceiling. Now double them. If your ceiling is $50,000 a year, your new ceiling is $100,000. If your ceiling is $2,000 in savings, your new ceiling is $4,000. Doubling is significant enough to require real expansion, but not so extreme that your system rejects it as impossible. For 30 days, you're going to live as if the doubled amount is your normal. You're not going to spend money you don't have, but you're going to think, feel, and vibrate as someone for whom the doubled amount is standard. How would you feel different if you made 100,000 instead of 50? What choices would you make differently? How would you move through Conroe? What would you say yes to? What would you say no to? Embody that version for 30 days straight. This practice stretches your nervous system's capacity. You're training it to feel safe and comfortable at a higher level of wealth. The first few days feel fake. By week 2, it starts feeling more natural. By week 4, it feels normal. When it feels normal energetically, you've raised your ceiling. Now manifestations above your old ceiling can land. Your system won't reject them. You're ready to receive at the new level. Marcus had a ceiling at $60,000 a year. He'd make 60, sometimes more, but always ended the year around 60. He raised his ceiling to 120. For 30 days, he lived as someone making 120. He made decisions from that place. He felt the abundance of that income. He vibrated at that level. Month 4. After the practice, he got an unexpected contract worth $48,000 on top of his salary. That would have pushed him past his old ceiling. Old Marcus would have sabotaged somehow. New Marcus received it easily because his ceiling was now 120. The money was within his range. Another ceiling-related issue is the receiving block. Some people can generate money fine, but can't keep it. It comes and goes immediately. That's a receiving block. They're okay with earning, but not with having. Keeping money feels wrong, scary, or dangerous for some subconscious reason. Maybe they learned money is the root of evil. Maybe they associated having money with being selfish. Maybe they saw wealthy people as bad. Whatever the reason, their system is comfortable with money moving through, but not staying. The receiving block repair starts with identifying the belief. Why is it not okay for you to have money? Sit quietly and ask yourself that question. Let whatever comes up surface without judgment. I don't deserve it. People will expect things from me. I'll become greedy. I'll lose myself. My family will resent me. I'll be responsible for things I can't handle. Whatever your version is, that's your receiving block. Once you've identified it, you challenge it with reality. Is it true that having money makes you greedy? Or does it reveal what was already there? You know generous, wealthy people and stingy, poor people. Money amplifies character. It doesn't create it. Is it true you don't deserve money? Or is that a story from childhood that you've never questioned? The universe doesn't withhold abundance based on deserving. Nature is abundant for everything. Trees don't deserve rain. They receive it. Go through each belief and dismantle it with logic and examples. Replace it with a belief that allows receiving. I deserve abundance because I exist. Having money allows me to be more generous. I can handle responsibility. My family's resentment is their issue, not my ceiling. Then practice physical receiving. When someone offers to pay for your coffee, let them. Don't deflect or insist on paying them back. Just receive with gratitude. When someone gives you a compliment, don't minimize it. Receive it. Thank you. When you find money on the ground, pick it up. Receive it. When someone wants to help you, let them. Receive the help. You're training your nervous system that receiving is safe and good. Small receiving practice builds capacity for large receiving when money shows up. At this point in your journey, you're integrating advanced concepts, and you're probably seeing real results. Money is flowing differently. Opportunities are appearing. Your frequency is noticeably higher. Now we're going to talk about maintenance and elevation, because the game doesn't end when you hit your first income goal. Prosperity is not a destination. It's a permanent frequency you maintain and continuously elevate. Maintenance means you keep doing the practices that got you here. The morning calibration, the daily tracking, the frequency resets, the gratitude sessions, the pre-sleep programming. These don't stop when you hit your goal. They're your new lifestyle. The moment you stop maintaining your frequency, old patterns start creeping back. Not because you're weak, but because the world constantly broadcasts scarcity. News, media, other people's lack consciousness. It's everywhere. You need consistent practices to stay tuned to prosperity in a world that defaults to scarcity. Elevation means you're always reaching for the next level. Once you've manifested your first goal, you set a bigger one. Once your ceiling is raised, you raise it again. Once you're comfortable at your new income level, you stretch to the next. There's no limit to how high you can tune your frequency. There's no cap on how much abundance you can receive. The only limits are the ones you place on yourself. So you keep removing limits. You keep expanding. You keep elevating. The elevation practice is quarterly visioning. Every 3 months, you sit down and assess, where am I now? How far have I come? What have I manifested? What's my current frequency baseline? Then you look forward. Where do I want to be in the next quarter? What's the next level of income? What's the next expansion in my business or career? What's the next ceiling to raise? You set clear intentions for the next 3 months. Then you tune your frequency to match those intentions and repeat the process that already worked for you. This creates a cycle of continuous growth. You're not plateauing at one level. You're using each level as a foundation for the next. Every quarter, you're bigger, more expanded, more abundant, more magnetic. Over a year, the growth is exponential. Over 3 years, you're operating at a level that would have seemed impossible when you started. But you got there through consistent frequency maintenance and deliberate elevation. No magic, just physics. People who succeed long-term with this work treat it like brushing their teeth, non-negotiable daily practice. They don't skip the morning calibration any more than they'd skip brushing their teeth. They don't question whether to do the frequency work. It's just what they do. It's integrated into their identity. They're people who maintain prosperity consciousness. That's who they are. And because they are that, they have that. Being precedes having. Always. Your wealthy life in Conroe starts and continues with frequency. Everything else is downstream from that. Your frequency determines what opportunities you see, what actions you take, what people you attract, what money flows to you, what ease you experience, what abundance you embody. Master your frequency, and you master your financial reality. It's that simple and that profound. You're not learning tricks. You're learning universal law. Energy attracts like energy. Your vibration creates your reality. Tune to prosperity. Receive prosperity. This is how it works. This is how it's always worked. Welcome to your wealthy life. Now go live it. Some of your wealth will come through skills you develop. Invest in yourself. Learn things that increase your value. Take courses, read books, get certifications, practice skills. Prosperity frequency isn't passive. It's being tuned in while also taking aligned action. You're not just waiting for money to fall from the sky. You're creating clear channels for it to flow through by developing yourself. Some of your wealth will come through connections, Invest in relationships. Network authentically. Help people without agenda. Show up for community. The most lucrative opportunities often come through someone you helped years ago who remembered you. You can't force this or fake it, but you can genuinely care about people and contribute to their lives. That generosity broadcasts abundance, and abundance returns. Some of your wealth will come through visibility. People can't hire you, buy from you, partner with you, invest in you if they don't know you exist. Get visible in appropriate ways. Share your work. Tell people what you do. Post content. Speak at events. Be findable. Visibility from prosperity frequency doesn't feel gross or pushy. It feels like generous sharing of value you have to offer. As you become wealthier, remember where you started. Remember the struggle. Remember the scarcity frequency. Not to stay there, but so you can help others shift out of it. Prosperity that includes contribution creates a self-reinforcing loop. The more you help others rise, the more your own frequency elevates. Wealth that only serves you plateaus. Wealth that serves others expands infinitely. Think about Conroe in 10 years. If everyone in this town did this frequency work, what would change? How would the community transform? What would become possible? You're not just changing your individual life, you're contributing to a collective frequency shift. Every person who moves from scarcity to prosperity raises the baseline vibration of the whole town. You're part of something larger than your personal bank account. This work matters beyond money. When you're vibrating at prosperity, you're healthier, kinder, more creative, more generous, more peaceful, more present. You have bandwidth to care about things bigger than survival. You can contribute meaningfully. You can create beauty. You can solve problems. Scarcity frequency keeps you small and self-focused. Prosperity frequency allows you to expand and other-focused. Conroe needs your prosperity. The version of you that's financially abundant and emotionally free and energetically aligned has gifts to give this community that current you can't access because you're too busy surviving. When you shift your frequency and wealth flows, you unlock those gifts. Then you share them. Then everyone benefits. This isn't selfish work. This is generous work. We're near the end now, and I want to leave you with the most important piece. None of this works if you don't actually do it. Reading about frequency is interesting. Practicing frequency is transformational. You can know everything in this audiobook and stay exactly where you are if you don't implement. Or you can know half of it and transform completely because you actually practice. Start tomorrow morning. Set your alarm for 5:30. When it goes off, don't hit snooze. Get up, go to your window. Feel for Conroe's prosperity frequency in the pre-dawn silence. Spend 90 seconds tuning in. That's it. That's your start. Then add the breakfast ritual. Then the commute rewire. Build the practice one piece at a time until it's your complete operating system. You will forget sometimes. You'll wake up late and skip the morning practice. You'll get triggered and drop into scarcity frequency. You'll have a bad day and want to give up. All of that is normal. What matters is not perfection. What matters is returning. Every time you notice you've slipped, you simply return to your wealth frequency. No drama, no self-criticism, just return. The returning is the practice. The returning builds the new neural pathway. The returning strengthens the new frequency as your default. Eventually, you don't slip as often. Eventually, the return is instant. Eventually, prosperity frequency is just who you are, and scarcity is a rare visitor you quickly escort out. 1 year from now, if you actually do this work, your life will be unrecognizable. Not because you worked harder, but because you vibrated differently. Conroe will feel like a different town, the same physical place, but you'll be interacting with a different energetic layer of it. The prosperity that was always here will be visible to you, accessible to you, flowing through you. Your bank account will reflect the shift. But more than that, your peace will reflect it. Your relationships will reflect it. Your health will reflect it. Your daily experience of being alive will reflect it. That's what prosperity frequency gives you. Not just money. A completely different quality of life. So, here's my final question for you, and sit with this one. Are you ready to live as the wealthy version of you? Not someday. Not when everything's perfect. Not when you have proof it's going to work. Now, today. This morning when you wake up, are you ready to be the person who's tuned into Conroe's prosperity frequency and expects abundance as your natural state? If yes, prove it with action. Set the alarm. Do the practice. Maintain the frequency. Track the evidence. Adjust when you slip. Keep going when it's hard. Celebrate when it flows. Build the momentum. Trust the process. Become the signal you want to receive. Conroe is waiting for you to tune in. The prosperity grid has a spot with your name on it. The wealth you desire is already in motion. All that's left is for you to match the frequency. And now you know how. The only question is, will you? Your wealthy life starts the moment you decide it does. The moment you choose prosperity frequency over scarcity frequency. The moment you commit to tuning in and staying tuned in no matter what. That moment can be right now. Actually, that moment should be right now. Because every moment you delay is a moment you're still broadcasting the old signal and getting the old results. Tomorrow morning at 5:30, Conroe will be humming with prosperity frequency, whether you tune in or not. The wealthy will wake up expecting abundance. The lake will be flowing. The opportunities will be forming. The money will be moving. You can be part of that current or separate from it. You can match the frequency or miss it. The choice is completely yours, and the choice is completely now. Make it, then live it, then watch everything change. Not because the world changed, but because you changed your broadcast signal, and the world responded to your new frequency. That's how this works. That's how it's always worked. You just didn't know you had control over the dial. Now you do. So tune in, and welcome to your wealthy life in Conroe.